All right, guys, welcome again to another coffee with the broker. We are here to support your business. And today we are going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about the new changes that are coming down our pipeline as far as what the NAR just the lawsuit. I mean, hey Alfred, are you aware of what's going on right now with the new lawsuit, the laws and how things are changing, and do you know how that's going to affect you in the next few
Uh,
months?
so the thing that I had over the weekend was something with regards to the commissions going to the realtor in terms of whether it be the seller or the buyer. I think in the past, the seller has been the one that takes care of the commissions, I guess, and so then there's a change in that regard. That's just top of my head what I gathered. So there's some changes with that coming.
Yeah, for sure. One of the big things, let's start with that, Roberto. One of the big things with the NAR ruling is they just want a lot more disclosure with it. That's super important, and they also want to limit the amounts, and they want to do different things. One of the big issues is that every state has different laws and different rules that have to do with this. And one of the biggest things that I can tell you is that there's going to be a lot more disclosure. A lot of real estate agents are getting very nervous and scared and concerned. Honestly, there's always been changes in every single industry, and there's just a need for a little bit of pivot. And if we have to disclose to our clients a little more or get something signed up front, then that's just an additional document, an additional form that's going to be need to get done. It's not necessarily anything that's going to make or break your business at this point. They're making it a really big deal because nobody had really done something like this before, and it's something that's going to be a little bit different and new now in the real estate industry, and it's a huge industry. There's a lot of different things going on. There's a lot of real estate agents. There's a lot of commissions being paid. There's a ton of different things happening, but the things that are going to affect somebody in Arizona aren't going to be exactly the same things that are going to affect us in California or in Florida or New York or whatever it may be. I've always said that at the end of the day, we always adjust and pivot. I don't think this is something we have to be super focused or waste any time thinking about or dwelling on it. Each association and the different groups in our state are going to pretty much tell us how and what we need to disclose. CAR's going to come out with a new form in California that we have to get signed maybe at the start of negotiating a deal, or maybe at the start of working with the buyer or working with the seller. It's just going to be a little bit different way of disclosure, a little different way of getting signed off by a buyer or a seller of how we're getting paid and what we're getting paid. So at the end of the day, realistically, for the individual agent and brokerage, it shouldn't be a game changer. It shouldn't be something that's very different. It shouldn't be something that's going to make or break your business. So I really don't want to spend too much time on this topic because I think at the end of the day, it's going to be pointless. And there's going to be an additional document or something additional that needs to happen or something a little bit different. And that's it. That's all that's really going to happen. Don't waste your time and energy dwelling on this. Mike Ferry, one of the biggest coaches, I said this on the last call as well. Mike Ferry said, don't get attached to the outcome. What does that mean? That means that you can't get attached to what, in this case, what the outcome of this decision is. You just pivot, adjust, keep doing your business. Are you still going to be able to charge 1, 2, 3, 4, 5%? Yeah, and the commissions are always negotiable. There might be some type of limit or some type of adjustment that the laws or different rule makers are going to implement, or something that's going to happen there a little quirky. But at the end of the day, it's not going to stop you from doing your business. It's not going to stop you from making your commission. It's not going to stop you from continuing moving forward on a daily basis. So I would say, don't worry about it. Don't dwell on it. Please don't waste no time on it. Keep going. It is going to happen really quickly. July's coming up. It's going to take effect July of this year. In the meantime, all the associations, the organizations are working on different ways of handling this so that everybody's okay and taken care of. Let's just keep checking forward, put more deals in your pipe, put more leads in the pipe. With that said, I'm going to hand it off to Roberto so he can talk a little bit about prospecting and qualifying your customers up front, which is the most important thing. Getting people in the pipe and closing transactions. It's not worrying about what little different document or what little different thing is going to change in your business. That's something that's going to happen in any business. We went from gas vehicles to electric vehicles. People are adjusting perfectly fine. There's things that happen every single day. Do not worry about it. Roberto?
Sounds good, David. And again, Alfred, those are things that are going to come down as we get more familiar with what's going on. Right now, the main focus should be, let's get more business in your pipeline, right? Let's take advantage
Got
of
it.
the tools, the tech. Let's take advantage of what's available to you through the broker, through our system, through our tech to help you get more business. And one of the things that, we talk about all the time is when it comes down to prospecting and qualifying prospects on the spot, right? You want to make sure that the people you're working with are going to be helping you build your business. So for example, one of the things that we talk about all the time when it comes down to talking to new leads is understanding who you need to put priority on, right? And how you build relationships over time to get more closed transactions. And one of those things is asking the right questions up front, right? And then also, how do you limit yourself from disqualifying prospects that could potentially, even if they don't work out, can they still get you more referrals, right? I think David has mentioned this many times before, where he has people that he has talked to but has never closed a deal with that has referred him to 3, 4, 5 deals. So it's important that you build relationships, but at the same time, it's important that you know how to qualify your prospects and what questions you ask. For example, um, how much about the lending side do you know? How much do you know about mortgages? How much do you know about DTIs? There's a few coaches out there that want you to know a little bit about, you don't need to know how to pre-qualify and pre-approve someone, but if you know the right questions to ask to figure out, qualification wise, DTI timelines on a prospect, you'll know whether that person is going to work out as a potential client or as a potential referral for more business. One of the things that I see a lot of agents do right now is, as soon as they get a lead, they just hand them off to the lender. And one of the big issues with that is some people feel that lenders are not as good as follow up as agents are, because some lenders are waiting for agents to send them ready to go buyers, right? Um, but at the same time, if you don't understand your prospect, if you don't build that relationship up front, and all you're doing is handing leads off to someone else to handle, and hopefully they convert, you're basically relying on someone else's work to make a paycheck. So what you need to know, what you need to do, and one of the things that we do when we talk to people is we start asking a lot of questions. And one of the things that we do, for example, day to day, is we get leads in our database every single day. And one of the things that we train our ISAs to do is understand what's available in the market, right? So for example, LA County, Ventura County, home prices are in the $600,000 range, $700,000 range, $800,000 range. So if someone comes to you and says, "Hey, Alfred, I want to buy a house that's in the $400,000 range, and I want a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home," is that a lead that you want to send down to your lender to pre-qualify? Right? Of course, there's a lot more questions that you're going to ask to get more information from that prospect, but things like having that conversation. Well, there's really nothing available for that price range in this specific area. Have you considered maybe widening up your search a little bit, maybe going to a different county, maybe a different city? How likely is it that you would be able to afford a home outside of this county? For example, I'm talking to a family of 4 who are looking to buy a house, but they understand that they want a house, but they understand that the area that they live in, Ventura County, is going to be a little bit too expensive. However, because of their jobs, they are able to relocate easily. So they're looking at other cities. Bakersfield, for example, is at the very top of the list, specifically because a lot of the jobs that they're doing right now could immediately transfer over in that city. So now their qualification for a $300,000-$400,000 home here in Ventura County just went up in Bakersfield, right? Because now there's more possibilities. Asking the right questions is going to help you qualify that person. Hey, how about debt? You know, do you guys ask about debt? Do you guys ask about income? How much money are they making? Are they getting paid W-2? Are they getting paid 1099? What's their credit score like? When was the last time they checked it? What tools have they used to check their credit? You know, down payment, do they have any money in the bank saved up? Now, those are questions that we ask all the time to qualify leads as they come in before we kind of take the next step, before we send them to an agent. So as an agent, these are questions that you want to ask and have a really good conversation with, so you know whether this prospect is going to turn into something, something solid in the next 3 months, in the next 6 months, in the next 12 months. Are you willing to spend time with your prospects and educate them in terms of, what type of credit score do they need? And if they're not up there, what do they need to do in order to get there, right? If they need money for down payment, money for closing costs, what do they need to do in order to get to where they need to be? They have debt, right? How much of that do you know to help them figure out, okay, hey, you need to pay this debt down, or maybe, this debt doesn't count. Sometimes when people think about debt, it is like, oh, I have a $10,000 credit card debt, and they feel that that's the debt that they have, but in reality is only the minimum payment that's required to be accounted in your debt when you're calculating a mortgage pre-qualification. So those are little things that you kind of need to understand when you're talking to prospects, because you want to establish a relationship. And the more you know, right, the more you know about that prospect, the better you're going to be able to help them. Now, Alfred, when you talk to new leads, are these questions that you're asking? Are these things that you're like putting in place? What are you doing right now in order to kind of get people through your funnel?
Yeah, yeah, I'm asking those questions. Obviously, from my mortgage side of things, those are kind of like the first questions that you want to ask someone. How's your income? How's your debt? Um, and what kind of assets do you have? And so let's get you pre-qualified. And so the whole process of getting pre-qualified, obviously, those items have to be discussed up front with the customer before we can get there. And then obviously, once they have some of those things lined up, their credit, their debt to income, their assets, then then I'm able to get them through the process of getting pre-approved.
Nice, nice. And you know what we've seen, Alfred, that when you do that up front, it kind of puts you in the expert seat, right? Because now you're able to answer all their questions. You're able to answer things like, sometimes they want to know, hey, more or less, how much would I be, approved for? Of course, you're not going to know rates. You're not going to know any of that stuff up front. You're not going to know their credit. But at a minimum, if you're able to guesstimate, right? All right, look, based on what you're giving me, you'd be looking at a $500,000 home, right? Maybe 500, 600,000. So what can we do to make that better, right? Is there someone else that can jump on the loan with you? Do you know someone, right? And now with the things that are coming down the pipeline with the changes, you know, uh, meeting people at homes, letting them fall in love with the house, sometimes it kind of helps to establish that relationship, right? Before you put a contract in place, a contract that says, hey, look, if you need me to represent you, you're gonna have to sign right here. So those are things that are gonna come down the pipeline as things change. Again, the most important thing right now is just keep building that pipeline, right? Now,
Yep.
is there anything, Alfred, that you need help with that we can help you with?
Um, at this moment, no. I think I have your number, so I can always call you. You know.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're looking to help every agent to make sure that they have everything set up. We're gonna take a look at our back end, um, and make sure that everything is set up on your end so that we can continue to help you, push your brand, help you get more leads. And of course, if you need any sort of support, any help, just keep us posted. We'll be happy to, we'll be happy to support your business.
Thank you.
All right, Alfred. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We're back again every Tuesday, 10 a.m. If you do have questions about uh, process, if you have questions about forms, if you have questions about anything related to compliance issues, um, really anything around systems or uh, offers or contracts, this is a good time for you guys to come on and ask those questions. Of course, we're available afterwards as well, but here's where we get a little bit more information. Now, this call gets recorded and it will go into our repository so you guys can watch it later. So thank you again for being here today, and we'll see you again tomorrow. So tomorrow, Alfred, we implemented a new meeting. It's gonna be we have a coach who's helping us get better at the sales process. How do you overcome objections, specifically with sellers, right? How do you become a listing agent? And there's a meeting tomorrow. It's gonna be at 9 a.m. It's called Sales and Role Play. It's gonna take place every single Wednesday at 9 a.m. And we're going to give you access to a community you can join if you can today. It's called join.realclosers.com. And you're going to get access to that weekly training on sales and role play. And then you're going to get access to more as we continue to build that community over with the coach. The coach is a 10X certified coach. He does a lot of Grant Cardone sales process. So you're going to be really in good hands pushing that part of your business as well.
Sorry, is that recorded?
That will be recorded and it will go into the recording sections as well. So if you can't make it, definitely something to watch afterwards. There's a ton of value in those calls. And then we're also putting courses together as to, okay, let's say the goal with that Wednesday meeting is to help you get a listing appointment, right? But the question is, okay, now that you got the listing appointment, what do you do at the listing appointment? Right? What sort of presentation do you put together? How do you talk to the sellers to convince them that you are the right agent to sell their property? Those are the courses that we're putting together within that community. So the Wednesday call is how do you get better at the sales process, objection handling? But then we're putting everything else afterwards so that you get better at the actual closing table. And then, of course, what do you do after that? We're going to talk about net sheet. A lot of sellers, sometimes they say, okay, I want $400,000 for my home. But then they don't really understand that what they're looking for is sometimes how much profit am I going to make? So we're going to do a lot of training on that as well. So those are little things that are coming down the pipeline to help you improve your business. But the first, thing is that Wednesday meeting at 9 a.m. It's one of those things that is going to kind of snowball. It's going to have a snowball effect with your business.
Got it.
So we'll send you the invite. But if you can go to join.realclosers.com, you can join the community, and then we'll get you access to the VIP area.
Okay.
All right. So thank you so much, Alfred. We don't see you there tomorrow. You'll get the recording, and then on Thursday we have another training this Thursday at 12 p.m. So if you can join us there, also great, and we'll see you there. Okay.
You bet. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
All right. Bye.